Let us understand what is Apache Pig and what role it plays within Hadoop ecosystem. As we have seen, the MapReduce logic needs to be written using the Java language, and that would get compiled into class files, and that can be built as a jar file. And it's going to be a difficult task for any data scientist to write the Java code and understand the API and get the syntax and make themselves comfortable and express whatever the processing they wanted to do with the Java language. And the same problem was faced within the Yahoo as well. The data scientists in Yahoo, they were comfortable with other processing languages but not with Java. What Yahoo did, they wanted to develop an intermediate component. To solve any problem statement, all I need is the Java file or the classes, which is going to be the representation of the bytecode instructions. Java is just a language where as a human being can represent the logic in human understandable format. So they went ahead and developed a component called Pig, and it uses a language called Pig Latin. This is very similar to English-like language. I can represent whatever the instructions that I wanted to do against the file I can provide using the Pig Latin language, and that would generate the corresponding bytecode instructions, that is the jar file, and the jar file would get executed as a job on top of yarn. So when it comes to yarn, it doesn't matter whether the jar file is generated from a class file or the Java file or from a Pig Latin language. It's going to be the equivalent instruction it's going to generate. It'll be easy for the data scientists to express whatever the logic they wanted to do. And it provides a shell-like interface. What I can do using the shell, I can provide the instructions. That is called a grunt shell. And it works in a lazy way of execution, in the sense as and when I ask for the output to get generated in the screen or to get stored in the storage, that's when it's going to generate the corresponding jar files, get that submitted within the cluster and get the output. Let's see a small example. I'm going to give a command pig. That will open a shell. We call this as a grunt shell. I do have a file within HDFS in a specific location. I'm going to use that specific file, and that is hash delimited. So I'm providing the file saying use this particular file which is hash delimited, and it is going to have 5 columns, that is user ID, gender, age, occupation and zip, and have that as a relation. We call this as a relation. Let us not worry about the internal details about the pig. And whatever the data that I have got, I'm going to generate. I'm going to organize the data, and I'm going to group all the data based on the gender. So it will keep on accepting the instructions that I'm providing, and whenever I ask for the output to get generated, that's when it's going to generate the jar file. I'm going to count how many records are available under each group, and that will be stored within this particular relation called grouped count. I want to know the result, what is there within the grouped count. It will calculate what are all the steps that needs to get executed, which one needs to get executed first, and it will generate a jar file. And the jar file will get submitted within the yarn. The jar file got generated. Based on this instruction, automatically the jar file will get generated and it would get submitted as a job. I can see the status of the job from this specific URL. Yeah, the status is completed. And it provided the result, this many records for the gender F and this many records for the gender M. In short, Pig, it's having a list of instructions and it's very easily understandable. In a day or two, anyone can understand the instructions and they can provide the instruction. Now there may be a question, when we have Pig, why we should use the MapReduce code using Java language? Pig, to some extent, it can handle the data which is in unstructured form, but not all the unstructured data. Say for example, if I have the data in the image or as an audio or as a video, then I need some high-level language or a powerful language like Java to process those data. In case if the data is in semi-structured form or in the structured form, then Pig would be a very good choice, where mostly we will be using for the ETL process or for verification and validation of the structure of the data, we will be using Apache Pig. So irrespective of whatever the language that I'm going to use, finally that's going to get executed on top of yarn as a MapReduce code.